the kid of two people whose principles matter more than a relationship with their daughter. And I will be damned if I repeat that.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am Jen, this is Fundy Fridays, and here on my channel I talk about different aspects of Christian fundamentalism, American conservative politics, pop culture, and gay stuff. Today we are going to be talking about Welcome to Plathville, which is a TLC show about the Plath family, and the Plaths being the parents, their children, their adult children, and their daughter-in-law, Olivia Plath. They hit a lot of the marks of things that we talk about on this show, pop culture and fundamentalism aspect. If you have caught any of my Plathville videos before, things are going to look a little bit different today. I am not doing a reaction style video. I'm not doing the video with James. This is for a couple of reasons. Number one, I can't make videos like I used to because of the YouTube copyright system. Back in the day, when I made my first Plathville video, I had not monetized my channel yet. I was not even eligible for monetization. So I didn't care if I got copyright claims. What difference did it make to me? So I would play really, really long, like entire scenes from Plathville. And that's not how I would do that now. I don't want to like upset the copyright gods, but you know, I might have deserved it back then. If you watch my first Plathville video, you are watching damn near the entire show. Like unbroken clips. Wasn't transformative, any of that. And that video, unfortunately, is over 1 million views. And so if I was able to make money off of that video, that would be awesome. But like my Duggar video, that's also over 1 million, got a copyright claim, so I don't get a damn cent from that. But it's okay. They serve as like just icons on their own, those videos. And if I had to do it all over again, I'd take the claim every time. Because it was worth it, especially on that Duggar video. Like, I needed to show you parts of the show because, like, that's where most of, like, the controversy came from back then. Over the years, traditionally, I start the Plath video off with a recap of who they are, and we talk about the most recent season of the show, and usually I react to them with James. He was in the very first Plathville episode, and so I wanted to have that consistency. Plus, he gets super hype. Many of you have mentioned how loud James and I are, how much you hate that we interrupt each other, like to the point where you say you can't watch it. And that, for a long time, was such an insecurity of mine that it made me not want to even like stream with James. I'm trying to be vulnerable here and say that, you know, I may feel that way, but you guys also feel that way too. And so maybe I need to do a little self-reflecting and make a change. So for at least this video, it's just going to be me. That way there's no yelling and no interrupting. We will just have to work on that in the meantime. That's one of the reasons why I didn't bring James along today, is because it would be too distracting. And I want you to know that today's episode's gonna be awesome, like regardless. I've seen 6 seasons of Welcome to Plathville now. I have been doing Fundy Fridays for 5 years, and I know one of the members of the cast of the show. Also, disclaimer, it's going to seem like I'm kissing Olivia's ass in today's episode, and I'm not going to completely deny that claim. I am biased, and I do think she's very nice, and often, on the show at least, she's the only person being reasonable in a situation. It's not her fault that she's right most of the time. I'm kidding, of course. She is a fallible human being, just like the rest of us, but this show really is a special situation, because the Plaths are often wrong and very loud about it. That's why I think today's episode is going to be so good, because I wrote it in a style that I haven't done in a while, which is a script. It's going to be a good one, and I take the copyright issue as a challenge because I have to talk about this show. It's the ultimate piece of media that Fundy Fridays should be concerning itself with. You know what I mean? Like, it's a show about a dysfunctional, quiverful family and the blast radius of a abusive parent, one could argue abusive parents, how their adult children are coping with it, how the young children are coping with it, what is happening with, the matriarch going completely opposite of fundamentalist. I mean, she's still Christian, but like she's wearing pants, she's getting divorced, she's shacking up with a boyfriend, she's drinking, and that's just the mom of the show. Then you also have Ethan and Olivia, married couple who we've been following the entire time. We see how they deal with the familial fracturing. We see how they're dealing with everything that's being thrown at them. Ethan going more right and more conservative and more problematic, and Olivia accidentally becoming like the queen of deconstruction. And she has not called herself that. I'm giving her that title playfully but respectfully, because I've never seen a show, like a mainstream cable TV show, that is covering something like this in such a way. And it's in a typical TLC fashion. It's dramatic, it's exploitative, it's questionable why they're even there, but I'm glad I'm witnessing it. Like, we're seeing things that I never thought possible, especially when I started covering this family, when I covered the very first season, and I did that in 2020. Think of all the things that have happened in the world, and think of how much these people on the show have changed. Think about how far the channel has come. Like, the Fundy Fridays is about as old as the show. Yeah, 2019. Welcome to Plathville is a very hard watch. Like, you feel it. You hurt with them. Being a part of a dysfunctional family is really, really hard, and it kind of can take over a lot of your life. And so this is a hard watch because that's what the show is about. And they do have their good moments on the show, and they do have this loving familial connection, which is why people are interested in the first place. Like, if we hated these people, we wouldn't want to see them do better. But we love them and care about them, and so it hurts when bad things keep happening to them, and you just watch it, and as an outsider, you're just completely helpless. Like, that's how the show makes you feel. You're just, like, so sucked in and worried about these people and stressed out by the bad behavior and crying for joy when something good happens to them. Like, the show has a lot of heart, but it also comes with a lot of hurt. And so keep that in mind. But if you are interested in something like that, we're going to cover everything you need to know. The last episode we did was season 4, and that was last year. And the process of getting that video out was awful. YouTube's copyright system does not always tell you every single time that it pings the copyright. And so I would upload, well, first of all, filming took 3 days because we reacted to the whole season, which is another reason why I don't like to react anymore, because it takes so long. Every time I would export the video, it was like 2.5 hours long. And so that was taking up a bunch of space on my computer, and then I would upload it, and we figured out the problem now. I don't get Wi-Fi signal in my office, but at the time, we were just dealing with this extremely slow internet connection, and so we would take like 8 hours to upload, and then we'd have to wait for it to give us it'll only give us 5 of the copyright pings at once, and so we'd fix the 5, and then we'd re-upload it, and then it would give us 5 more, and it was just a never-ending process, and it took, I think we were a week late with the video, because all that, and I forgot, I got sick in the middle of it. That was hard. It was hard, and then, it was a crazy time. So anyway, I wanted to have a different experience with this one, and I knew I was due up for a season 5 review, and for some reason I got it in my head that season 6 was going to start September 5th. I thought it's coming out September 5th. Duh. And so I had the Discord, shout out Discord. You can join for $1 or $3 on Patreon or YouTube membership. We finished the entire season. We watched 6 episodes. And because I thought that, I could rush and get this video out before season 6, and then it would boost the views. And then I found out it had already started airing in July. So that ended up having a silver lining, because now I can cover some of the events of season 6. So a little 2-for-1 episode. But yeah, the other videos that I made are great, if not loud. If you watch any of them before this one or after this one, I suggest the first one, just because there's a lot of footage of the show on there. And hey, copyright Jesus had to die for our sins, you know, so you might as well. It's also really funny, and James has a mustache, and it's great. And then I do my whole president of the Fundy Fridays fan club. Like, I was literally wearing one of James's suits, made a fake podium, and got the green screen out, and I'm like the president, and I come out, and I announce that we stan Olivia. It holds up. Not so much of the other stuff, because we don't stan Ethan anymore in this house, which is unfortunate, but he is a real person, and he is, like all of us, susceptible to pipelines and propaganda. So we're going to be talking about that later in the video. But yeah, those are good. I also play a very long section of some home videos from the Plaths. They did not film these videos. I believe a friend of theirs did. They used to make little movies, which it's super cute. I talk about that and just some more other stuff in the other videos. So if you couldn't already tell, today's video is going to be very heavy, lots of trauma. And so if you need to sit this one out, I do not blame you. That is okay. There is a lot of inappropriate familial boundaries going on in this family. There is a lot of toxic behavior, self-centeredness, manipulation, abuse. And if that's too much, it's fine to dip. If you made it this far, thank you. And I'll see you later. Which I also have a video coming out this month that is going to talk about sexual abuse. So some months are fun and some months are traumatic. And this is going to be a traumatic month. But that's okay, because October is going to be Halloween. So that's more fun spooky than it is scary. So anyway, let's begin.
We're the Plath family.
Barry, Kim, and 9 children.
Ethan,
Hosanna,
Micah,
Mariah,
Lydia,
Isaac,
Amber, Cassia,
and Mercy.
Playing and singing together as a family brings us so much joy.
With beautiful 4-part family harmony,
a jazz ragtime style piano player,
A fiddle player that's been called better than Charlie Daniels.
and of course, adorable little ones who will melt your heart and steal the show. You're in for a treat.
meet our family, and check out our concert schedule at theplathfamily.com.
So, who are these people? Well, the Plath family are a quiverful fundamentalist family from Georgia. I don't know what religion they would consider themselves to be a part of now. Definitely still Christian. They have changed many of their lifestyle choices since they started their family in the 90s. I don't know how much sinning Barry is doing, but the notable things are what the women do, right? Because they're used to being restricted, and so when they start acting according to their own wishes, that it deviates from the norm. You know, it's notable when a fundamentalist woman changes something about their lifestyle. They put their kids through all kinds of stuff and lived in a certain way that the younger kids don't do now. And I mean, good for the younger kids, but it's just something to keep in mind is that while Kim is allowed to get a divorce and bang her son's flight instructor, her own children had to court and marry somebody they barely know just so that they could have a little bit of autonomy. But while we might not know what denomination the Plaths identify with specifically, we can assume it's likely a strict and fringe one, as in season 1, Ethan tells us that his mom wouldn't let the family attend a regular church growing up. Instead, they opted for home church. We even see early on Ethan and Olivia attending worship services. We can also make an educated guess about the religious leanings of the Plath family because of the company they keep. The Plaths sent their kids to at least one No Greater Joy Ministries conference, and we know this because none other than Jill Rodriguez herself documented it. I know, the Fundy Friday cinematic universe strikes again. Rodriguez considers herself a friend of Kim's, although I'm not so sure how Kim feels by looking at this uncomfortable picture. Although, to be fair, Jill tends to have that effect on everyone. Technically, Nari is close friends with Hosanna Plath, the only Plath child to have opted out of the TV show, and good for her. She's busy with her own career as a musician, and she's also a mother, and does not need this bullshit.
What does she need college for? She's learning more by doing right now than she ever would sitting behind a desk in a college learning head knowledge.
So what does a crossover episode between the Plaths and the Rodriguez mean? Not a lot, but it sure is fun to think about.
Ethan date Nuri? Was that the question? All right, I would love to clear the record on this. No, I never dated her.
Much to someone's dismay. Okay.
Yeah, Jill Rodriguez had her sights on me.
From the stories that the Plath kids tell on the show, we can piece together some more information about how they were raised and what they believed. Plath parents, especially Barry, who I hear was the real religious one obsessed with demons, were fundamentalist Christians for a time.
I remember the first time I bought a pair of jeans, that was like a big thing. My parents lectured me. I was sinning because I was stepping out into the world. I was buying jeans. That was like not a conservative thing to do, I guess.
So they believed in the submission of women, strict modesty, biblical literalism, and absolutely no soda. Wait, that one might have just been a Plath thing.
We're just hoping to keep the influence of the outside world's junk at bay a little while longer so they can enjoy their childhood. But recently, that is becoming a bit more difficult, with the older two spending a lot more time with Ethan and Olivia.
Kim had all sorts of rules for her kids, ranging from no sugar and soda to no TV or Christmas. That's right, the Plath kids didn't even get to celebrate Christmas for real until this most recent season. Another aspect of the Plaths' lifestyle that leads me to believe that they are indeed fundamentalists is their use of child labor and parentification. In season 1, we are witness to a confrontation between Lydia and Mariah about chores. Lydia actually approaches Mariah with some passive aggression in the scene, but I'm not going to blame her for doing what she learned from Kim. Anyway, the two teen girls are arguing over who is responsible for cooking and cleaning. Lydia feels it's unfair that all the oldest daughter duties got dropped in her lap, while Mariah, who is 1 year older than her, gets to do her own thing all day. Does that ring any alarm bells for you all? Because it should. Why the hell isn't Kim, or to be fair, Barry, pitching in? Why is this an assumed job for an oldest daughter? These two should not be fighting over chores. They should be at school instead.
You want Mexican? Just have Amber cook the meat and set out all the Mexican stuff.
When is the last time you think two adult hands made a meal in the Plath household?
It would probably be around when, like, Hosanna turned 5. And it's probably pretty obvious to everyone but Kim at this point. But in my opinion, the childhood trauma that she suffered has greatly influenced her views and behavior to this day. She's clearly overcompensating for what she went through by being so controlling and insecure. Kim grew up with an alcoholic mother who was suffering from spousal abuse, and she says on the show that she just wanted to make a life for her kids where everything was perfect. Kim also underwent extreme pain and suffering when her 15-month-old son died because she accidentally backed over him. I can only imagine the torment she went through grieving her son, especially the way that he died. She was also pregnant at the time, which only further complicates things. Kim says she went through hell during this time, and I absolutely believe her. There's no doubt in my mind that these traumatic events had an effect on Kim that she still feels today. Of course, this is not me excusing Kim's behavior. I just wanted to add additional context because she is a complex person and she deserves the right to try and change. Let's just hope she takes it. Kim and Barry got married in 1997. Kim did go to college. Apparently she majored in music, but she did not finish school. Barry, I'm not sure what his degree would be in, but he is, according to his LinkedIn, the senior transportation planner at URS Corporation. And if you just go further in on LinkedIn, URS Corporation, an e-com company. What does that stand for? Premier fully integrated professional and technical services firm positioned to design, build, finance, and operate infrastructure assets around the world for public and private sector clients. You know, I bet Barry would really like City Skylines. Maybe that's what he should do. Because we know he likes to work out. Okay, so we need to give him a new hobby. He should be playing City Skylines, but not the sequel.
I do travel demand forecasting for
a consulting firm that works for Florida's Turnpike.
Cool, so that's what Barry does for a living. But how about Kim? Well, currently she's a landlord who owns several properties in southern Georgia and parts of Florida, including what she calls a dance studio, a boat that I don't believe for a minute she's actually living in, as well as several residential properties that she often rents through Airbnb. Oh yeah, and one of the properties has a small pond where she rows around and pretends to contemplate life. Before Kim was a gaslighting girl boss, she was a crunchy, quiverful mom just trying to make ends meet. So she became a naturopathic doctor, her words, not mine, and used the power of essential oils and faith healing to serve her client base. More on those oils in a minute.
Literally, like the Bible talks about laying on of hands and prayer, that's what it is.
But like any good fundy mom worth her weight in hard white wheat, she put her kids to work. Did you know that the Plath family used to sell their own homegrown produce? Because I didn't. I know from watching years of Plath content that Micah was a pro at gardening, and from this website I can see that Hosanna also had a green thumb. What I wouldn't do to try some of Hosanna's herbs. And besides foodstuffs, the Plaths also sold band t-shirts and CDs. And Kim wrote a book about labor and child rearing, and I'm pretty sure she gave Olivia that book when she married Ethan. You know it's got to be a must-read. My very first video, I said that I couldn't access the old Plath family blog through the Wayback Machine. Turns out I was just doing it wrong. I don't know what the hell I did wrong, because I typed it plathfamily.com into the Wayback Machine on archive.org, and I just checked out every time that it was archived, and so I've seen multiple versions of their website. I also found Kim's Vimeo page, which doesn't have very many videos, except for some very weird ones of all the Plath children stuffed into a doghouse, which is kind of funny, and also Barry riding a mechanical bull. On one of them, Kim tells us the story of how she met Barry. How do I write the story of our band and leave out how we got married? How God has led us down all these paths, and how our family has grown and developed, because these are the story of our band. In the spring of '97, on the exact same day, before either of us either talked about it or showed any interest in the other, God revealed to Barry and I that we were going to marry. We were married in July of '97. Okay, so like 3 months. Good grief. Our marriage has been a continual process of growth, refinement, challenge, heartache, and joy. Throughout, we have sought God on major life decisions, as well as the minor day-to-day choices. He has taught us how to function as a family in unity. How did he teach us, little by little, line upon line, precept upon precept, as we walk by the way? That's how we have taught our children. The result? A family that delights in each other's company, a family in unity, in harmony. That's the story of our band. That is the foundation without which our band and our family would crumble. It helps that I was a music major at FSU and have taught the children instruments, but at the heart of our band is a love for God, a love for each other, and yes, a love for music. Yeah, so if you didn't pick up on that, the Plaths used to be a traveling band, and I looked at their schedule on their old website, and they played a lot of places. Like, they were constantly playing music, and I really hope that they got to keep any money that they made, because we know that Kim likes to play with other people's money.
In musical harmony, you have two different notes that vibrate in accord with each other, so they sound good together. When the harmony is off, there's a clash there with the sound waves, and nobody likes that. And it's the same way with us as a family. Each individual member, they're playing a different note. They have different interests, different things that they do or like, but with that common purpose, it all goes together. All of the sound waves mesh together. The music is a byproduct of the love we have for each other, the love we have for God, and the unity that we have as a family. And it's beautiful.
And the whole family unity, being in harmony vibe. Delta Work would be so annoyed with my misuse of vibe there. What I should have said was, Kim keeps using this metaphor of unity in music and unity in the family. It comes up a lot. Like, that seemed to be the word that God must have told her to go with. And sometimes I think that Kim says unity when she means loyalty. We all know that people who deviate from that are going to face her wrath. Even comes back up in current times because the latest drama on Plathville seems to revolve around how divided they are and how it's Olivia's fault. I know, because, you know, an outsider to a family would have anything to do with how it is holding up internally, but, you know, anything to not make Kim face what she's done.
There's some bitterness on Olivia's part towards me regarding all of that. And I know that Mariah's spending so much time with Olivia. Some of that's already rubbed off on Mariah.
And by the way, Kim kicked Mariah out of the house when she was 17. So when Mariah starts blaming Olivia for all the problems with her mom, it's really sad because clearly she's hurt, and this is the only way she knows how to get on her mom's good side. And it's really unfortunate because Olivia was there for her during some really dark times.
Before Ethan and Olivia got married, the family was all on the same page. We were all in the same boat together.
And exactly how does an outside party have anything to do with your relationship with somebody else? Are you taking psychic damage or something?
Yeah, you know what it's called? It's called brainwashing.
Brainwashing.
And that's what's happened to him.
Fellas, is it brainwashing to stand up for yourself and not let your family manipulate you? Brainwashing. Are you kidding me? You guys act like there's no such thing as free will. Well, actually, maybe I shouldn't bark up that tree with these people.
You didn't get along with mom. You guys had problems, and you latched on to Olivia because Olivia had problems with mom, too. And now today, it looks like to me, you blame Olivia solely, and Olivia's the one that divided the family.
I blame myself more than I blame Olivia.
Let me back it up because I realize that some of you may not have seen this show before and you might be a little confused. So let me take a second to give you some added context. From the beginning of the show, there was this framing of the Plath family versus their son Ethan's now ex-wife, Olivia. Right away, there were conflicts that had occurred off screen. And so when we joined the Plaths in season 1, Kim is already spinning a web about how she's a victim of Olivia's manipulation and that she's somehow tearing their entire family apart. Notice how Kim always uses blaming language and never self-reflects. I wonder why somebody would have bitterness towards you, Kim. Could it be your constant critiques or accusations of demon possession?
It went from like, I love you so much, to you have the devil in you. And it just kind of changed overnight.
Olivia really has gone through a lot of bullshit when it comes to dealing with Kim. Countless stories of mistreatment, constant criticisms, passive aggression, tantrums, and heartbreak. To his credit, Barry is not innocent in this either. He fully participated in much of this behavior. In season 4, we get more info about the pre-Plathville relationship between Olivia and Kim, and Olivia bears her soul about the time when she was really close to Kim and considered her a mother figure in her life. Apparently, after Olivia and Ethan got married, she discovered that Kim was using Ethan's credit card to buy MLM products and refused to give up the password. After Olivia changed it, Kim went off on her and then never treated her the same way again. This story actually got Olivia in a lot of trouble with the Plaths, if you want to count that as trouble. When she told the story on TV, they all made statements about her on social media and then kind of like banded together against her. And they still to this day don't believe her. As if Kim Plath using her son's credit card to buy Young Living oils would not be believable. From her own son, who was in her downline and only offering to pay back half of the money. I'm showing you the website right now. I found this on the Wayback Machine. Kim absolutely did this. And when she was finally challenged on her bad behavior, she blew up.
That's his password now. And that was the first time she ever blew up and yelled at me and slammed the door on me when she had me come meet her in town over that.
And for what it's worth, Olivia only told that story on TV because Micah, Mariah, and Ethan were ganging up on her, asking her why she couldn't forgive Kim and just let everything go. See, by season 4, most of them were on good terms with Kim and Barry and couldn't possibly understand why Olivia didn't feel the same way, even though both of them had spent the previous seasons complaining about their upbringing and how badly their mother treated them. But I guess it's only okay for them to complain.
I kind of want to know why y'all hadn't talked to us like when we were 13, 14, 15, something like that, not wait till you're 19.
I think the last couple years that you two were at home, we couldn't talk to you about anything. I felt like we couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel like I could approach the subject.
Is that our problem?
That's why I never bought for a minute that this Kim and Barry versus Olivia feud was ever about soda or sugar.
But when it comes to resolving those issues, a lot of them are theological differences, or they're super conservative and we're not. And that's never going to change.
This has always been a power play, And withholding visitation of Ethan's siblings in exchange for compliance from Olivia was an obvious power play and nothing more.
I would love for this relationship to be fixed, but that does not equal me changing as a person.
This is all extremely unfair, especially for Olivia, who has on many occasions extended an olive branch to Kim and Barry, Mike and Mariah, yet she's constantly treated like a scapegoat. She always goes out of her way to accommodate people, and she often apologizes for things that I don't think she personally needs to apologize for, but she's just that nice. Also, I want to state for the record that, at least on the TV show, Olivia went out of her way to spend time with Kim and the rest of the family multiple times on the show. Her and Kim are no contact right now, but that's not how it always was. There are plenty of scenes where Olivia is interacting with Kim and being nice.
Yeah, and we've forgiven you, and we're not bitter.
And we never did mean to hurt you. I mean,
Well,
I'm sorry if it was.
I feel differently, but that's my feelings.
Yeah.
Leaving this with peace over all the drama.
I chose that clip, by the way, because it was 3 seasons in, and there had been all sorts of conflict and shit-talking of everyone on all sides, and Olivia came and said her piece, was very respectful, and still asserted her boundaries. And you know what? They all claimed to forgive her, but then they immediately switched up their tune in the following seasons and went back to blaming her for everything that has ever gone wrong.
Would you let me hug you?
I'd prefer not to have a hug, but thank you.
The other reason that the Plath kids don't like Olivia, I think, is because they are uncomfortable when somebody, especially an outsider, stands up to their mom. Then they have to face how they really feel. Oftentimes, when you start using boundaries, especially in a relationship where you've never had to do that before, you might feel like the bad guy. While those who break your boundaries may try to convince you that a sudden interest in enforcing your own comfort is unfair to them, or rude, or cruel, or whatever they think will get you back to the docile acceptance they preyed on before, but stay the course and don't be fooled. People who enrich your life will always be able to handle boundaries with love, acceptance, and grace. One of the things that Olivia tends to do that has oftentimes really upset people like Micah and Mariah is when she physically removes herself from a situation. And I can understand why they would be upset by that, because it seems like she's trying to draw attention to herself, but in fact it's actually the opposite. When Olivia feels uncomfortable around Kim because she has a trauma response, because Kim literally traumatized her, of course she doesn't want to be around that situation. And so if she can support the group from a distance, that seems like a viable option. They don't like when she goes off by herself because it draws attention to the fact that there is conflict. They don't like that Olivia deviates from the norm because their entire family culture is about conformity. And when somebody like Olivia comes along and reminds them of how unstable things actually are, that makes them feel deeply uncomfortable. They don't want to have to process that. They don't want to have to change. And they certainly don't want to stand up to Kim, because it was never about Olivia. It's always been about appeasing their mom and protecting this fantasy of the perfect family, because that's much easier than facing the truth. Notice how it's always Olivia is bitter towards me and not what have I done to hurt a loved one so deeply. Olivia doesn't like me. Yeah, you broke her heart and then dragged her name through the mud to your entire family and a worldwide television audience. I swear everything Kim says about Olivia is actually a confession of her own insecurities and bad behavior.
I want to understand why Olivia does not like my parents.
And at this point, Mariah switching up on Olivia and white knighting for Kim is sad, but it is predictable. What else is she even supposed to do? She wants her mom to love her, and this is how she's learned to get that love. I honestly feel bad for her at this point. And to her credit, Mariah did try and assert a boundary once on season 3 when she told Kim not to come to her musical performance, and she did anyway. So what kind of lesson does Mariah learn from that? That you might as well give up. And that is a damn shame.
I don't know if I don't mean to speak for you or you, but I have a hard time understanding why it affects you so much.
And don't worry, we'll get to Ethan in a little bit. First season was all about showcasing the differences in the Plath family, Barry's side of the family, and Ethan and Olivia, and how they were distant from Kim and Barry because of things that weren't shown on camera, but we know now they were calling her demonic, they hated her, they were talking all kinds of shit. But yeah, the first season's all about Mariah's rebellious and she wants to wear short shorts, and Olivia is a wedding photographer and she has some photos to take in San Francisco, and so Mariah wants to go with her, and Barry's super worried because of all the homosexuals out there.
Well, you know, it's a very liberal city with a lot of problems. I mean, we've got drug use, homeless issues.
Sorry, I guess he actually said homeless, not homosexual, but the point remains that he was being problematic. Mariah did end up going to San Francisco with Olivia, and I will give credit to Kim and Barry for allowing her to actually have a little freedom. And they were completely exposed to all the gay people.
T, is that next? Transition, transgender.
And nothing bad happened. And what do you know? Kim found a way to talk shit again.
In a way, this trip with Olivia has planted seeds that further the division between us.
The main confrontation in season 1 is actually the first of many driveway fights. Driveway fights are a tradition in the Plath family, apparently. But essentially, all of the Plath children, including Olivia, who is a Plath by marriage, grew up playing music, and so they all really enjoy playing music together, and it's one of the only positive things that they had going for them. Ethan and Olivia want Isaac and Mariah, who live at home currently in that season, they want them to be in the band. Kim doesn't want to let Isaac play with them because she's afraid that if he spends too much time with Olivia, then he will be turned against Kim. And so they didn't end up letting Isaac go over to Ethan and Olivia's house. Instead, Kim bought a giant model sailboat as a olive branch for Ethan and Olivia, and yes, that is hilarious because this thing is massive and it's not like they really wanted it, but I will give Kim some credit here because she tells a story of Olivia offhandedly making a comment about a nice sailboat that she saw at a store. So it was Kim trying to be nice, but she reminds me of a lot of emotionally stunted adults that I know where they don't necessarily know how to apologize properly, so they just try to do something nice instead and hope that that covers it. Another plot line that was started in season 1 but continued into season 2 is Micah's modeling career. And yes, it is kind of interesting the first time, wow, I've never seen an ex-Fundy man become a male model. But once the novelty of that wears off, he's just a shirtless dude with mommy issues, and I can find plenty of those at Walmart.
Out, renting a house, bought a new car, and I've never stopped working on my body, so I've got something. On social media, I have attracted a decent amount of followers.
Season 2 is a lot like season 1. There's plenty of fish out of water stories comparing how the Plaths used to live to how they live now. There's conflict between Barry, Kim, Olivia, and Ethan. Yeah, Mariah gets kicked out of the house and she's living with Micah. This is framed as quirky instead of concerning. Kim turns the old farm that they all grew up on into an Airbnb and then moves the family into town, literally on the same block as Ethan and Olivia, because of course they did. Season 2 also features Micah and Mariah attempting to talk to their parents about how they were raised. And they have legitimate concerns. Specifically, Mariah was raised to believe that pants were a sin and that dressing immodestly meant that she was a bad person going to hell. And they tried to talk to their parents, but they completely shut them down because that's what Kim and Barry do. They can never accept that they did something wrong. And you can't move forward until you admit that you did something wrong, so they're just kind of at a stalemate.
I have so many people that whenever you post something on social media, they screenshot it and send it to me.
Like who?
Just a bunch of people.
Far and away, the most upsetting conflict that probably has ever happened on Welcome to Plathville happened in season 2 in another driveway fight. This time, Ethan and Olivia were heading out of town. They were moving to Florida, and they wanted to say goodbye to Ethan's siblings. And Olivia did not want to be all up in Kim's space. So she stayed in the car, and the plan was for the kids to come say goodbye to Ethan and Olivia in the car. Well, of course, Barry and Kim did not like being told what to do, and started talking about, this is my property, these are my kids, you can't tell me what to do, when in reality, she probably should have just taken a deep breath, thought about the situation, use her wise mind, and what is the outcome that you want from this? Do you want to prove a point? Do you want to try and do a power play? Or do you want to just let your kids say goodbye, not have a whole orchestration? Ethan set the boundary. It's either let the kids say goodbye at the car or not at all. And Barry and Kim ended up trying to storm the car. Like, Ethan told them to stay away, and they started heading that way. And Ethan actually grabbed his dad and got kind of sort of violent with Barry, and then he backed down, and then Ethan said goodbye to his siblings. They all cried. It was actually a really upsetting scene, and I don't know if it could have gone better. I think it's good that Ethan stood his ground. Kim did not react in a way that we would want her to, and unfortunately, it did not end well. Season 3 is the season where Mariah has a gig and she doesn't want Kim to come, and she does anyway. Well, she finds her own way to do it. She parks in the parking lot and listens. So it's one of those gray areas of how much do you want to put up with this woman's bullshit versus the principle of the thing. And that basically teaches Mariah to never try to have boundaries with her mom ever again. So that was eventful for that reason. Other things that happened in season 3, Olivia and Mariah talk about their lack of sex education growing up and how they're managing their sex life now as adults. And that's an interesting point that gets brought up because meanwhile, Mariah's boyfriend at the time, Max, is actually slut-shaming her about her outfits, and that's unfortunate. But, you know, he didn't last long and was gone by the next season.
It's not their business.
But if it's not their business, then why are you giving it to them?
I'm not. This is mine. I'm not giving it to anybody.
You're showing it to them. Like, does your confidence rely on you showing your ass to people?
Okay, where are you coming up with this?
How infuriating is that? I bet Mariah's heart sank into her stomach hearing that sexist shit all over again. Mariah grew up in a world being told that her body would lead men to stumble. Grown men. Mariah is a person, and she is not an object, and her body is her own, and it is not an advertisement for men to do what they want to her. Max was possessive and misogynistic and terrible. I'm glad he's gone, and I hope Mariah dresses how she wants to, and does not base her wardrobe on the whims of some man.
This is mine. I'm not giving it to anybody.
The big driveway fight of season 3 is not a fight at all, actually, and it is a pretty nice moment. Olivia and Ethan are saying goodbye. Olivia says her piece, forgives Kim and Barry. They forgive her. Kim asked for a hug. Olivia said no. They said goodbye to the kids, and everything was fine. So I don't really know what happened to make everyone hate her in season 4.
I want to understand why Olivia does not like my parents.
Season 4 truly is the season of side quests as Micah, Mariah, Ethan, and Olivia all live together and they get into random adventures like roller skating, taking pole dance classes, getting drunk and going to strip clubs, trips to Jamaica.
My mom, do you ever see that coming?
I don't know, Micah. I don't want to be pressured having relationships that aren't good for me, and I'll decide what's good for me and I will figure it out on my own. And you and Mariah have chosen differently than me, and that's okay.
I want to understand why Olivia does not like my parents.
After Jamaica, Olivia apologized to Mike and Mariah for being standoffish, and then they used that as an opportunity to dogpile on her, including Ethan, and started interrogating her. Well, why won't you just forgive my mom? Why do you have to be so dramatic? Why won't you just fall in line? And then she tells us the story of how Kim hurt her so badly and why the relationship is the way that it is.
It went from like, I love you so much, to you have the devil in you.
There was another incident on season 4 that further fractured the relationships between Olivia and the family. And that's not me blaming her, by the way. I was just describing what the Plaths said. But anyway, the Plath kids were planning a memorial for their dead brother Joshua and decided to not invite Kim at first so that Olivia would actually be able to attend and not be uncomfortable. Kim obviously hated this and took it as a personal offense that she was not allowed to her son's memorial and showed up anyway. Wanting to avoid having a panic attack and dealing with Kim in a highly emotionally charged situation, Olivia went to the memorial and stayed in the car. Sounds like a nice compromise. But this pissed everyone off because they felt that she was making it about her by staying out of it somehow. And by the way, Olivia did apologize for this. That never seems to be enough. And while I can understand Kim's frustration, she really should have used this as an opportunity to be mature and empathetic. Kim, instead of asking yourself why you can't come to an event, perhaps you should ask yourself why you haven't ever accommodated anyone before. Just make this one compromise. Relinquish control one time. I dare you. Season 5 features the fallout from several conflicts that happened off screen. I'll give you one guess as to who is painted as the villain in these conflicts. But anyway, essentially in Season 4, Mariah wrote and released a song, and she did so using Olivia's account. Presumably, Mariah did this because she was raised without technology and did not understand how to use music publishing websites. Either way, she convinced herself that Olivia had actually stolen her music and became so upset that she blocked Ethan and Olivia and stealth moved out of their apartment.
And when I went to log into my account, it wasn't there. I freaked out and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get access to the music.
The catch? Ethan and Olivia had been out of the country the whole time and weren't actually receiving the text that Mariah claimed she was sending them. Mariah went on to accuse Olivia of stealing the profits from her music, which, let's just say there probably weren't very many streams of that song. And not only that, she said that Olivia deleted the song and wouldn't give her access to the account, which could not be further from the truth.
And Olivia said, this is the username and password, and you said, thanks, now I can access this while you're gone.
That never happened.
She really acts like a boomer when they come across Facebook for the first time. I can't find my password. I'm being hacked. I do not give Mark Zuckerberg permission to steal my identity.
What do you mean it never happened? I was there.
I do not remember anything like that of Olivia giving me passwords to my account or anything.
Me, when I get locked out of my account and then I try to create a new password, but it says it can't be one that I've previously used, and so then I threaten to sue my sister-in-law because she stole my music even though I just forgot the password. Mariah then spent the entire season being mad about Olivia and blaming her for the division in the family. She even said at one point that their relationship was based solely on complaining about Kim, which is so heartbreaking to hear because that is not at all what happened. Olivia and Mariah were close, like sisters, and they even called each other their best friends. It's honestly really sad.
And then it was just like there was nothing left to our relationship, honestly, because that's what it was built on. Like,
you didn't get along with Mom. You guys had problems, and you latched onto Olivia because Olivia had problems with Mom, too.
This was not the only stupid fight this season, which I wouldn't even call any of these situations fights. It's just different Plaths talking shit behind someone's back. The other conflict on this season was actually in reference to the credit card story that Olivia told in Season 4. After the episode had aired, Olivia went onto social media to give more context. So in response, all of the Plath children, except Ethan, made a post about Olivia tearing apart the family. I swear, for being a family band, they sure do only know how to play one note.
Why didn't they show Kim's DUI? And the answer I assume there is because they weren't going to talk about it. Is there anything deeper there?
At the end of Season 4, when I shared the story about the credit card, that caused such a ripple. It was a huge blow up. I thought another season wasn't going to happen because the family like had a whole bunch of demands that had to be met. And one of them was like, they got to control the narrative.
Oh.
And it wasn't so much like, you're going to shoot whatever we say. It's just like, we're not going to talk about anything we don't want to. Kind of stonewalled a lot. And that was like a whole family decision together. Like from their point of view, I was the one spilling dirt about their family or whatever. And they were all going to kind of band together to kind of protect each other.
Yeah, so that was a clip of an interview with Olivia Plath on the Be There in 5 podcast hosted by Kate Kennedy. Not only do they reference Kim's DUI, which was absolutely not included on the show, even though I think if you're going to be a public menace like that, people have the right to be aware. But Olivia also mentioned that now the Plath family has complete veto power on storylines in the show. It sounded like they basically said, we're not going to film unless you do it this way. And so that's why the show is the way that it is. And it all happened because of this social media post, this credit card thing, of which Kim was absolutely in the wrong.
I want to understand why Olivia does not like my parents.
Another major plot point for Season 5 was when Mariah got baptized. I guess She had been searching for an identity. She'd been searching for something to fill that God-shaped hole, and she became a Christian again. And good for her. Now she gets to start over, and she also gets attention from her family, which is a win-win for Mariah. And she did it in a very aesthetically appropriate way. She got baptized by her own father in a dirty pond. Good for Mariah. It seems like she's really happy, but I just need her to know that Ethel Cain did not die for this. This is the season, of course, where Kim starts dating Ken, her son's flight instructor. He's also the co-owner of the airplane that she bought for Isaac. So, you know, right off the bat, we got a financial stake with this guy, and she talks about it nonstop. At least she talked about it one time, then the editors played it 12 times per episode. But I've seen it. I get it. You're dating Ken. It's weird. Also, he's a Republican who posts racist memes on Facebook. Bro, look what you did to Barry. He adds 1 pound of weight for every time Kim breaks his heart, and so he's swole now. The main event for me on season 5 was the dissolution of Ethan and Olivia's marriage. They had been struggling for a while, and it was documented during pretty much every season of the show. And sure, family conflict obviously had a part to play in this situation, but it sounds like there were some foundational problems that could not be resolved, with Ethan basically giving an ultimatum to Olivia that if she did not agree with his principles, he would not have children with her.
And you're the one telling me that if I don't answer yes to everything on your list, then I can't be with you.
Mutual respect does not negate a right or wrong. Just because you respect someone does not make a belief suddenly okay.
Ethan and Olivia have both changed a lot during the span of their marriage. And how could they not? They were children when they got married, and they barely knew each other. Olivia has since deconstructed and become a woke feminist, and Ethan went the complete opposite direction.
And I get all these comments from people being like, so you're just like a feminist now, like you're like woke and stuff. I grew up in a world where women were expected to live life asleep and let everyone around them make decisions for them, and they were just supposed to coast on autopilot and not really have any thoughts. And like, I will take being awake every single damn day. Good luck trying to put me to sleep again. Because when you're awake and you actually realize what's going on, like, you realize how so many people don't have your best interests at heart.
So, what kind of changing has Ethan done? Well, we know from outside the show that he follows several problematic thought leaders like Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, and Jordan Peterson. And James Bond, but I don't know if that's related. On the show, we actually watch him just be openly a straight-up patriarchal jerk to Olivia.
And the whole thing, cooking 3 meals a day, that is one of the only keys to a man's heart. When's the last time you cooked a meal?
Are you fucking kidding me, dude? When do you provide? Because every time I see you, you're either fucking huffing and puffing on this couch or your elbows deep in a broken jalopy. Okay? Like, get a grip, dude. There's also this clip of him in the show talking about complementarianism, the belief that men and women have different but complementary gender roles that they play in society.
There are roles that a man plays that are different than a woman plays, and roles that a woman plays are different than a man plays, and that's natural. That's inherent in us.
I don't know, Ethan. You say you've changed, but this Ethan talking right now is starting to sound a lot more like this other Ethan that I know.
And I see the whole family is how God has designed it, a man and a woman, children. You need the members of the family to all do their job and their part to make the family function, and then you need all the different families to function together to make a society function.
Olivia held her ground in this conversation.
To tell me that I need to go back to a culture and a faith and a belief that told me that I was worth nothing without a husband.
And I am so incredibly proud of her.
That in a relationship I just need to submit and say yes and cook 3 meals a day and praise God and it would all be fine.
She let Ethan know that she is not going to bow down to patriarchal bullshit.
I don't think you understand the privilege you have to look at me and tell me I need to go back to that because it served you.
And finally, Olivia drops the hardest line ever spoken in reality show history.
I'm the kid of 2 people whose principles matter more than a relationship with their daughter. And I will be damned if I repeat that.
Seriously, Olivia serves as such an inspiration to not just the deconstruction community, but anyone who has ever gone through abuse and everyone who has ever been in a high control group. I just love her so much, and seeing her come into her own and stand up for herself and do good things and live her best life, it just makes me so happy.
I always equate deconstruction as like when a young child is first learning to talk, they say words wrong. Or like I look at like someone going through puberty and their voice starts cracking. Why? Because they're learning, like things are changing. And the same thing with deconstruction. As a young woman, having never been allowed to have a voice, never been allowed to really have an opinion on something, never been allowed to make the choices in my life, it's like learning to talk. It's kind of messy and awkward and your voice cracks and you do it imperfectly, but practice makes perfect. In the very beginning, did not know how to set boundaries correctly, did not know how to regulate myself properly, did not know how to react to people properly. But it was a learning period that was necessary to get to the other side of knowing how to do that better, of gaining those tools for my toolbox.
I'm only a few episodes into season 6. I plan to finish watching it with the members of my Discord, which you can join for $1 today on Patreon or YouTube memberships. But in it so far, Kim is supposedly living on a boat. Mariah did apologize to Olivia for the music thing, and they seem to be on better terms. Main thing that's happening is the finalization of Ethan and Olivia's divorce and how he's handling it, which is not well, to say the least.
Lord, sometimes I wish that I wasn't still living.
He's making cries for help like that, and he's listening to Jordan Peterson. Lord have mercy on us all. Welcome to Plathville started off as a typical Duggar knockoff TLC bullshit show about a musical quiverful family with an overbearing mother, and now it's a shocking insight into a dysfunctional religious family and how they're all reacting to being raised in an abusive environment, all while under the hot lights, cameras, and social media pressure. This show that was just supposed to be another cookie-cutter religious exploitation show. Little did TLC know that they were going to actually be making a show about deconstruction, relationships, communication, boundaries, respect, and toolkits. Each kid in the family really does display different maladaptive coping skills.
I feel like the way that I grew up, and especially Joshua's death, how that affected me, just where I shut down to emotion and completely block, and I literally like bury it like forever. Not say that it doesn't affect me, but like I'm totally okay with just shutting it off and going and doing something else.
Olivia tends to be the only voice of reason on this show. I'm sure she gets tired of that, but probably not as tired as she is of being painted as the bad guy every time she reasonably enforces boundaries and does not let Kim manipulate her. After all, she's been through this before. She also came from a fundamentalist quiverful background. She's also felt the unbearable weight of patriarchy crushing her and dealing with all the pressures of being a perfect trad wife and being submissive and being godly and towing the line and not pissing off your in-laws and trying to find yourself and fall in love and live life all in this very narrow way of life that is the only way presented to fundamentalist women.
But I've never had my own bedroom. I've never had my own bike. I've never had a lot of my own things because we had to learn to share.
And then she deconstructed on national television and had to get divorced on national television. And in my opinion, all of the drama on this show stems from either scenes where the OG Plaths are reacting inappropriately to reasonable requests from Olivia, or gross scenes of abused adult children doing the absolute most to appease mommy dearest lest she lose her cool and withhold love again. And that's about where I'm at with Kim Plath. We can clearly see on television that she believes that she has changed and that her family should all fall in line and just forget all that pesky, manipulative, and toxic behavior. But since she's never been held accountable because everyone's just constantly trying to appease her because they don't want to deal with her outbursts, or having visitation with your own siblings used as a bargaining chip or power play, they would rather just make Kim happy and not deal with it. And I understand. It gets fucking tiring doing this shit all the time with her. Sometimes it would just be easier to ignore her. But when any member of the family tries to assert boundaries with her, she breaks down. And I'm not blaming the family members. They didn't do anything. Kim is responsible for her own behavior. And I wouldn't put it past her to, be mean to her family members or call them after an episode is aired. And I can't believe you said that. And like, to us, it's obvious, oh, she's super insecure. She has bad communication skills. She's taking it out on her loved ones because they won't leave, right? Like, we all had that figured out by, like, the first episode. Kim doesn't know that. And maybe if she does, it doesn't matter because she needs to be held accountable for her behavior. She needs to say sorry and she needs to change. Kim, I'm talking directly at you right now. You know what's better than an apology? Well, you should still apologize. An apology plus changed behavior. And it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna have to practice it every day, every single minute of the day. Communication is hard. You have hurt your loved ones severely, and you did it on national television, and you did it at my birthday dinner. She actually did it at a birthday dinner a few times. Everything is not solved once you get a hug from somebody that you have wronged, okay? That doesn't mean that you are forgiven. It doesn't mean that you have carte blanche to do whatever you want. Like, admit you have a problem, seek help, change, practice, try every single day. Your loved ones are absolutely worth the change, and it is going to be hard, and it's going to take a lot of self-reflection, and that hurts. It hurts to acknowledge that you have hurt other people, but you need to take that and use it as fuel to become a better person, and not just, oh, it's all in the past now, everything's fine. There's got to be some acknowledgement, and there's got to be some growth, because I promise you there's a better life besides just your family tolerating you. It can get better, but only if you change, Kim. And thankfully, most of the people that you know and associate with are very forgiving, and they've given you a lot of grace, but you're kind of abusing that grace at this point. It's time to start treating family members better, and it's time to start thinking of others, not just ourselves. What is it? Jesus first, others second, yourself last. Maybe move Jesus a different spot in that list, but that's all I would change. It's hard to watch people go through familial tribulation. It's hard seeing people get vulnerable only to be crushed again and again. It's hard watching people who love each other make the same mistakes over and over. But if you can stomach the pain, I think it is worth watching. If you're interested, don't force yourself through it if you're having a bad time. But I've seen 6 seasons for a reason. It's not just a cautionary tale about toxic family structures and generational trauma playing out in real time, but it accidentally became a show about the religious deconstruction movement, and I've never seen something like that done for such a mainstream audience. I think the show is a great representation of the reality of life with a toxic and dysfunctional family. It's hard and it's complicated. Sometimes the problem parent or parents have good days, good months even. People can have good memories with bad people, and they might even feel guilty about enjoying these memories. And I'm here to tell you that if it's possible, please try and let that guilt go. And what matters the most is that you do what is best for you, and you do what is the safest for you. So I'm just saying, I get it. It's hard. And a lot of you deal with people like this in your life, and you're kind of at a place where you don't know what to do. You see yourselves in the members of this TV show. It's just hard. I just want to tell you it's hard. We see you. What does it look like to deconstruct your religion? To unlearn everything you ever knew about reality, about heaven and hell, about politics, about philosophy, about who you are as a person? What happens when you marry a stranger? What happens when your mother-in-law gaslights you on national television? All of those things can be answered on Welcome to Plathville. Many of you in my audience began your deconstruction journey online, but there's a large group of people who just might start theirs because of this TV show and the work that Olivia has done. She was doing a very scary thing, and she's doing it publicly and getting so much shit for it. She talked in the last episode of season 5 about what it was like to have her family choose their religious beliefs over their own daughter, and how she didn't want to go through that with Ethan again. She's coming into her own. She's seeing what it is like to be independent, autonomous, and liberated. Deconstruction is hard and it's messy, and many of you can see yourself in Olivia, and I really think that she gives hope to an entire generation, whether she realizes it or not. I'm just so proud of her. I think she is an excellent ray of sunshine on this show because everything else is so dreary. So if this story feels a little too close to home and you're in this spot right now where it feels like it's never going to get better, I hope that this show and our conversation today can put things into a new perspective. I hope that in this story of the Plath children, you can see and reflect upon just how hard it is to escape fundamentalism and the abusive, totalitarian parental relationships it fosters. And in turn, I hope that in Olivia, you can see just how worthwhile and possible these pursuits are. This is a long episode. Woo! I feel like I bit off a lot more than I could chew with this episode. I really wanted to have this, like, you know, this big ending here at the end where I talk about, you know, using Olivia as this beacon of hope if you're deconstructing, if you're going through a hard time with your family, and hope we pulled it off. What a crazy time. It's been a wild 5-6 years with the Plaths. Never thought I would have such an intimate knowledge of their life. And yeah, I hope that you took something from this. Many of you have expressed when we do these Plath episodes how hard it is to see maybe your own lives reflected in these difficult family relationships. And oftentimes we make little off-the-cuff comments that you say, like, inspire you, and I didn't think they were anything. And so I really tried this time to make something inspiring because the Plath family are not the only family like this. A lot of families are like this, unfortunately. Many of us know exactly all too well what that's like. But I love Olivia, and I hope she's doing well wherever she is. And I don't think she's ever seen any of these episodes, but if she sees this one, I really hope she likes it. The Plaths, it really is that deep. Is what I would say. Like, yeah, it's goofy, it's hard, but it really is important. Especially if you're interested in the stuff that we talk about on this channel. Likely you're gonna be interested in the stuff that happens on Plathville. I watch it on the Discovery app, but I have to have all those streaming services for the channel, so don't be like me. Go pirate that shit. I love you guys. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for everything. The past couple months have been rough for us over here, and so your support means everything. If you want to support us financially, we have Patreon and YouTube memberships. They do the exact same thing, except YouTube, you get special emojis in the live chats. We do a premiere. You're probably watching our premiere right now. In the premiere chat, we talk back, and you can have special emojis. The tiers are $1 and $3. They do the exact same thing, only one is cheaper, so up to you. You also don't have to pay us any money, but we do appreciate when you do, because we do this full time and we rely on our generous patrons, quite literally viewers like you, and so just really appreciate that. Some of the benefits of joining a membership would be you get access to the Discord, and that's just like a little chat room forum thing, and we talk about kind of stuff we talk about on the channel, and we go off topic a lot too. There's a lot of fun channels for like crafts and animals and TV shows and stuff. And on Monday we have Movie and Fellowship, and lately we've been watching Plathville. I don't know what we're gonna watch once that's over, but we watch movies sometimes, documentaries. Oftentimes when I don't have anything to watch, we'll watch Tuttle Twins, but that's always fun, and that's Monday, 7 p.m. Central. There's also behind the scenes videos. I try to get you one every now and then, but shit comes up. I have behind the scenes videos and like little fun things that I didn't want to put like on the main channel. Like I recently just did a tier list of a bunch of different fundy wedding dresses. What else? Oh, there's a merch discount if you join. It's like 20%, I think. Yeah, it's great. It's a great time. Speaking of merch, we have merch. Lots of fun designs. We have Overweight Sexually Broken Loser, Vampire Hoe, which is a Sister Cindy reference, Tarot, Fungi Fridays. We have the metal logo. We have the Atheist Nightmare, which is a reference to Ray Comfort and Kirk Cameron. We have some Halloween designs coming up. I'm so excited. Once I get the physical shirts to see how they look, I'll probably launch that, but you're gonna love what we have. Super excited about that. What else? I don't think anything crazy is coming up. Next video I'm gonna do is Kanakuk, and I don't I want it to be out by next week, but we'll see. It's gonna be a long one too, so I don't know. It might not come out on a Friday, but it'll be out soon. And then James is working on some good stuff. And then we got Halloween coming up. I'm scared because I have built up this Ellie Beth video as my big Halloween video, and I don't know. I don't have any ideas for like the horror short that I want to do at the beginning. Because I was doing J-Rod every year, and I would just do a horror movie parody at the beginning of each of those. And I'm out of ideas. How do I live up to last year? Last year I did Hell Houses and Pearl. I don't know if I can top that. Go check out any of the Plaths if you really want to on social media, but go follow Olivia because she often she gives you the tea. Yeah, check out the info box. I always have my sources. Not very many sources today, but I also have my link tree, links to different articles I've been featured in, different podcasts I've been on. We got fundraisers. We have merch fundraisers. All kinds of good shit. So, yeah, check it out. It's there. I love you guys. And I will see you later.